guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk to you about guitars and the best guitars under 10K. How about that? How about just the best guitars for any amount of money? There aren't any. Unfortunately, there is just no best guitar or best guitars out there. There are so many choices for guitars these days. It is insane. And you will find that yes, there are some really nicely well-made guitars that come with a really huge price tag. And equally as such, you will find the same thing with a very low price tag. So which way do you go? I kind of lean towards the lower price tag myself. Get more for my money. Pay less, get more. That's my kind of theory, right? And you can get some pretty, really cheap guitars. They're actually really good guitars too. Hence the Affinity, Squire, Telecaster, and Stratocaster. These things are only like $300 tax in Canadian. So that's actually a really good price. And they're a hell of a nice guitar, right? Strat or the Tele. You've got other options too if you've got less than that. Let's just say you've got a $200 max budget. Well, what is out there? Well, for $200 in the Canadian world of $200, okay, you've got a brand called Sawtooth. Now, Sawtooth makes a large variety of acoustics and electric guitars both. They've got Stratocasters, Telecasters, they've got a copy of the Les Paul, etc., etc., many different types of acoustics. And they do have a range of guitars that go up over $200 as well. Different kit setups too. One of the kits I'm actually looking at myself is a Les Paul style kit, and it's called the Sawtooth Heritage Series, and it's $428 Canadian, free shipping. Comes with a hard case, comes with your guitar, extra pack of strings, really nice heavy duty leather strap, a tuner, and picks, all for $428.97 and free shipping. Now that's a pretty sick deal, you know. And the specs on this thing is a maple top with mahogany body and neck. So it's got like the, what do you call it? I guess laminated top, whatever they do with the maple. Call it a cap, maple cap, right? Ebony fretboard. Now that you don't see too often on a guitar of this price range. Sawtooth Alnico 5 humbucker pickups, adjustable stop tail bridge, gold hardware. Ooh, I like that gold. 3-way selector switch with 2 volume, 2 tone controls, just like your typical Les Paul. You get the really decent tuners on it as well. They're sending this out with 10 gauge strings. It's a Pro Series Les Paul body style and hard case. They say tuner, 15-foot Pro Series vanilla cream cable, and Sawtooth 25-watt amplifier is also included. Although they don't show the amp in the picture, but they do say it comes with one. So I'm surprised they didn't show the picture of the amp. But it does say it comes with the amp. And so that'd be a larger size amp physically. I mean, I have seen the Sawtooth myself face to face. A student of mine has one, and it's actually their cheaper series for $145. Comes with a little smaller amp, just a little basic thing, runs off batteries or a 9-volt power adapter. It doesn't come with either, so supply your own power source. But you got the strap, you get a pitch pipe instead of a tuner, some picks, you get a soft case. It's got a kind of a Stratty style body, but only a single humbucker, and it's a hardtail bridge. Really nice for $145, and free shipping. So, and it's built really good. I was actually quite impressed, and it does have the good tuners like I have on this guitar as well. It's got this style of tuner on it. So it's got some decent tuners. It tunes well, plays well. What my student has is a 3/4 size, but even the full size, adult size guitar is the same price. So that's decent. Now, if you want to get into their higher end stuff, you go after the ES series. They have a Stratocaster for $239. It's just the guitar, and it's what they call Daffin Blue with a pearl white pick guard. Very nice guitar. Very nice looking maple neck, maple fretboard. that sort of jazz. 25.5-inch scale length, 5-way selector switch, sycamore body, black with black finish, and 3-ply pick guard. So where's the black on there? I don't know, but this is the pearl white pick guard. So I guess they have it with a black as well, and they just put that in the list. 21 medium jumbo frets, dot position inlays, 3 single coils, blah blah blah. Your typical looking Strat, really. And actually on this one you don't even have string trees to worry about, so that's actually pretty decent. It's got your typical Strat type bridge with the 6 screws, and your tremolo system. Really a nice looking piece of kit. They've got another one here, which is a Sawtooth Heritage maple top, Alnico 5, same in specs as the other one. They're showing the amp in this one, as well as a 15-foot cable, and they're asking $525 for this one. I guess it's ships and sold by Amazon, but it's a different thing, I guess. I don't know why the difference in price, but this one they actually show the amp, and looks like a pretty neat amp, actually. Looks pretty neat. Nice guitar though. It's your typical Les Paul style again. What else have they got here? They got Telecasters. They have a Telecaster that looks actually identical to mine, and it's got an ash body on it. It's called the ET50. Straight guitar, only 298 bucks. So again, it's a higher end level. It's got, for the saddles, it's got like the 3. And these are good. I've played on my student's guitar myself, and I really like it. They did a really nice job with it, and the fretwork is pretty decent as well. You can't really complain too much there for a very inexpensive guitar, or you could, but nobody will listen anyway. But no, seriously, you can get cheap guitars that are really good guitars, and the way technology is today compared to like 10, 20, 30 years ago, I mean, we get some amazing quality instruments for very little money. So, you don't even have to spend thousands of dollars to get a really awesome guitar. Even my Chord X2 LH behind us, my black one there, that was under $400 brand new. And it comes left or right-handed. Dual humbuckers, tremolo system, blah, blah, blah. Jumbo fat frets. I mean, you'll never wear these frets out. You'll never damage them. Unless you're a moron and you squeeze with the death grip all the time. Well, of course, you're playing out of tune all the time at that point, too, because they're such a tall fret that you barely have to touch the strings. Kind of like these are medium jumbos, and you barely have to touch the strings at all on this thing. So, very clean, too. But, everybody's got their preferences, right? Some people like expensive guitars because they think, the more you pay, the better you get. And that's absolute crap. Sometimes the more you get, the bigger the crap you get. Look at Gibson Les Pauls and Gibson SGs, as well as the Epiphone counterparts. These guitars are crap. They've been crap since the beginning. Gibson refuses to fix the problem with the headstock angle. Epiphone kind of fixed it a little bit, but not much. Neither one of them have done anything about the tuner distance at the back of the headstock to bring them in closer, because that would mean changing that angle. Okay, so they'd be tapering the headstock, so if they get those strings in closer for your D&G, and then they'd stay in tune. The Sawtooth guitar for the Les Paul that they have, hey, it's tapered, kind of like what PRS did and many other companies have done. And of course, the headstock angle is not as steep back where your Epiphones and your Gibsons are, and constant problems, constant tuning issues. And Gibson's answer is, well, let's try a copper nut or a brass nut. Well, that brass is stupid, brass gulls and chips really easily. It can shatter very easily too. That's the nature of brass. Copper, of course, is very soft and should never be used as a nut material. Shouldn't be used on frets either. Well, neither should brass. They then go to the next level. Okay, well, how else can we hopefully fix this so that it stays in tune better? So they got the auto-tune system. Well, that's all great and dandy as long as your batteries are strong and healthy. But if your batteries are starting to get weak while you're playing, it can't zip itself back up and stay in tune. So now you're playing out of tune again. Great job there, Gibson and Epiphones. Garbage. So I have a very low opinion on them. Now, I owned an Epiphone Les Paul, so I can knock them all I want, because it was a total waste of money. I paid over $600 for an Epiphone Les Paul standard, and the damn thing would not stay in tune. Even just regular playing, it fall out of tune, and there was nothing that could be done at the time. And of course, back then I didn't know they had those headstock issues either, you know. And had I known at the time, I just never would have got it. Plus, I had a couple of spots where there's some, you know, dead spots on the frets, couple frets, and that means fret work. This thing never should have left the factory, but hey, quality control of Epiphone and Gibson, right? And you're paying big money, right? I've seen people buying, like, you know, the multi-$1,000 Gibsons and Epiphones, and, you know, they're just getting the same headaches, same problems. Like, what up? You know, it's not that special of a guitar. Besides, there are so many aftermarket solutions. So what if it doesn't say Epiphone or Gibson on the headstock? They did a better job than those companies did. They stay in tune better. You don't have the headstock issues anymore. You know, like, come on, think logically here, right? So sometimes you'll pay more and you will get far less. You know, the worst of the worst are the Fender Bullets. If you're looking at Fenders, the Bullet is the bottom feeder. The Affinity is next in line. Then you got your regular Squires, and then you've got your USA Strat, made in Mexican Strat, and of course your Japanese Strats. And the Japs are the best, right? The Japanese ones are definitely the best. USA ones are having issues once again. Made in Mexico, not too bad. They're pretty decent, although they could use better pickups. Everybody agrees pretty much on that one. The Indonesian Squire Strats, they're actually not too bad, but they have some things that I don't like, at least in the Vibe series, okay? One of which was the tuners. I didn't like the tuners, but hey, you can switch tuners out if you want to. But that was still, you know, that's a $600 guitar that, you know, it's what it is, right? This Telecaster and my Stratocaster were $300 a piece Canadian, and both of them, I can tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, they are way better built and better quality and workmanship than the $600 Squire series, okay, in the same guitars. Now, sure, the Squires look nicer. They have far superior, smoother frets, but these are pretty smooth either way, you know. But there's a difference between, you know, smooth frets and smooth as glass. So they did a really good job on the fretwork. On the more expensive, sure, but you know what? I can take my strings off. I've got the files to do this, and I can just go and then a little bit of, you know, 600 grit there along the edges, and it'll be just as beautiful as that $600 guitar. And it cost me $1.29 for the sandpaper, and I already own the files. But even the whole pack of files, I got 10 files to choose from. It cost me $10, and I'm going to be using one of them, so it cost me $1. Okay, so it cost me under $3 and an hour of my time, and I can put this neck to be equally as good as that $600 Stratocaster or Tele. And I don't have that thick polyurethane crappy finish to deal with either on the Tele or the Strat, which I had to deal with on the Strat, because that was another thing that I disliked about it, was that thick polyurethane coating, and it slows you down so much, you know. But hey, you know what? Everybody has their preferences too, right? And they think the prettier it looks too, the better quality it is. No, it doesn't work that way, you know? It really honestly doesn't. So there are no actual best guitars out there for any amount of money. It is preference too. This is why every time I see this question pop up, what's the best guitar under $500? What's the best guitar under a K, under 5K, under 2.5K? You know, it's like, you know what? There is none. Why don't you just be yourself for a change? Stop being some little follower little person and make some decisions up for yourself. Use a little bit of common sense. Go to a music store, pick up a bunch of guitars, play on them, see what you like, and buy something. But, you know, the proper way to buy an electric guitar is to take your amp with you if you can, because then you know how it sounds on your amp, okay? Because there's a big difference between a Mustang 1 amp and a PV Viper, or an Ibanez amp, or the hell's the other name I'm thinking about? Line 6, if if you're into modeling amps, right? Or even a Vox amp, right? And no two Vox amps are going to sound the same. Just because it says Vox, it doesn't sound the same. And an amplifier is not an amplifier, okay? An amplifier is just that. It's an amplifier. It has a certain amount of wattage to it for the main power out. It has a certain amount of current that it pushes through the speaker, being a low current amp or a high current amp. Tube amp versus solid state amp. Bass, mid, and treble controls versus just bass and treble, and so on and so on. So you need to actually take your own amp with you when you're shopping for a new electric guitar, so you get a really good idea what that guitar sounds like on your amp. Because otherwise, you know, you could be plugged into a Marshall stack and you're gonna be cranking up. You're going, this is cool, yeah, you know, this is awesome. Here's my money. You go home, plug into your own stuff, and you're like, man, this thing sounds like shit. I just wasted all this money. Like, oh, this is horrible. You know, avoid the problem in life. Take your own amp with you. Well, common sense there goes a long way, doesn't it? So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much. I mean, if you got any questions or whatever, feel free to ask. But, you know, I just wanted to put this video out there for you people, because so many people do ask that question. They get 10 million different answers, screws them up even more. Because, I mean, everybody has their preference of what they think is a great guitar. I think my Chord X2 is a beautiful guitar. It's an awesome guitar, and it cost me under $400. And you know, when I compare it against even a $4,000 PRS guitar, the PRS guitar is just not gonna cut it. Not for my playing style, not for the amount of frets that I get between them, not for, you know, and the price, you know, and the workmanship quality is equal as far as I'm concerned. You know, I like the frets too better on the Chord X over the $4,000 PRS, you know, etc., etc. I like my nut better. I love the graphite nut, you know. And yeah, you can mod any guitar you want, but why spend thousands of dollars if you don't need to? But if you want to, the option is there. But I'm going to tell you, just because it costs more doesn't mean it's any better in quality and workmanship. It definitely does not mean it's any better in sound quality either. Okay? That's a big thing, you know, and I proved that already on my Squire Stratocaster, just by putting in a $20 switch from Fender over the $3 one that came from wherever. Okay, I got more output from my pickups, and I got better quality sound out of my pickups just changing that switch. Why? Because it's a super heavy duty switch with better contacts, stronger contacts, just totally better on the switch, right? And it made that much of a drastic improvement. I can't wait until I can, you know, get some really good quality pots in there and a good capacitor in there, you know, and really it'll come to life even more. And those are just ceramic pickups, right? And you know, same as this guitar. When I first started using it on one of my Mustang amps, I thought, well, I think I might have to change these over to, you know, maybe a set of specials of some sort. You know, maybe I'll throw some DiMarzios in or some Duncans, and I'm thinking, you know what, I paid $300 for the guitar. I'm not paying, you know, more for pickups than what the damn guitar is worth. But then I thought, well, wait a second, let me just go and adjust some settings on my amp, and let's see what it sounds like then. Ah, there you go. I found a few amp settings that were presets from Fender, and I also found, of course, a way to make a completely perfectly clean channel. Well, as perfect as it gets in this world anyway. And the Tele sounds wonderful. I don't need to change the pickups now, but I will change the switch because it'll increase my output and the clarity of sound coming out of the pickups, you know, just by changing that switch. And then, of course, I'll move on to the pots and everything else, right? And then I want to switch all my stuff over to gold hardware on this thing, you know. But, and that again is preference, right? And because I know where to get my parts from, it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg to do all these mods either, you know. So think about that as well, you know, at the same time. Now, I'm not saying to people just go out and buy cheap guitars. I'm just saying there are a lot of options out there, and there are cheap guitars that are really good quality, all right, for beginner and intermediate and pro players. There are many options, and there are so many options that there is no way to say what is the best guitar for this amount of money, because that, my friends, does not exist. It's what you like, not what other people like. And if you buy something that somebody doesn't like, who cares? It's not their guitar. They're not the ones playing it. You are, and you have to like your guitar. You have to be able to walk into your room where your guitar is, or guitars, and say, I'm going to go play on that. And then you spend time, you go play on your guitar, right? And then the next day, you walk into your room, you go, I got to play. I love that guitar. It's so awesome, right? And it either costed me a lot of money or very little money, right? Or, you know, it cost me very little money to buy it, but I still wanted to change a few things to make it more mine. You can do that. And it's like, that's how you get your dream guitar too. You know, I mean, there's no such thing as buying a dream guitar off the shelf. Not unless what's on that shelf is your dream guitar, okay, in every way, sound, everything, okay. If that does happen, it does. It is rare, okay, and I do mean extremely rare, okay. But, you know, generally, you build your dream guitar by taking a guitar that you really, really like, and then you mod the hell out of that sucker so you get it to exactly what you want in the end. You know, and if that does mean changing pickups, so be it. You know, you don't have to always change pickups, you know, but you can. The options are there. It's like hot rodding a Stratocaster. How do you hot rod it? 1 or 2 dual rail humbuckers, maybe even 3 if you're a real humbucker fanatic. You know, I prefer 2 max myself, but I did do 3 once on my Strat. It's not bad. It's a little overkill though. When I go and redo it again, it'll probably just be the 1 humbucker, but I haven't decided yet. But I'm going to get another Strat guitar. Might not be a Fender Strat, but it'll still be a Strat, you know, and I'll leave it alone, except I'm going to, you know, make sure it's got good pickups in it the way I want them to sound, and then I'll throw the hums back into this sucker, and, you know, and more variety too. I love the addiction part of musical instruments, right? Because they're all different, they all play different, they all sound different, you know? They all have different things about them, right? There's always something special about it that attracts you to that guitar. Anyways, guys, until next time, hey, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.